Greetings, adventurers. This is DM Kurt. A friend of mine has lost two members of his gaming group. Thankfully, it wasn't from loss of life or serious illness. No, it was not even from the usual issues of scheduling or moving away to another city. It was from things that shouldn't be an issue at the table: politics and social issues. 1 week after the game, the two members of the group were expressing strong opinions about the election, and another member of the group who holds opposite political opinions got very upset and decided they no longer wanted to play in the Friday group. So they left. Well, unfortunately, okay, so he loses somebody because they can't stand being in the same room with people that disagree with them on something that's not even gaming related. Okay. And just the other day, a conversation was started about casting choices in movies, and, well, they lost another player because how dare you have a different opinion than me? The media is once again telling us to avoid talking politics at the Thanksgiving table. That's not new, okay? Although this year, we have a social media platform called TikTok, where a bunch of people are saying that you should totally disavow your entire family if they don't agree with you politically. And don't even go to Thanksgiving if they're a bunch of blah, 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 blahs. I already had a family member spout some crazy conspiracy theories about what would happen if the election didn't go the way that they wanted. And I had to ask them, where did you hear this? And of course, it was some third-hand source that just came up with something, and then they were afraid that this was going to happen. And because that person was afraid of something they made up or their friends made up, then therefore, okay, I just had to, shrug and go, yeah, it doesn't really seem plausible, but all right. And just drop it and move on. Sometimes you just got to move on from a conversation and not engage in it, because it's just not going to go anywhere. So, yeah, we're in an era where people seem to be less capable of listening to opposing views and taking them as discussions. No, they take these opposing views as being fights, and they take the people they're talking to, and it's only allies and enemies. It's not that way. It's just people, man. In the real world, you're talking to people. Real people, okay? Not online personas. The gaming table's for gaming, okay? Escapist fun. Let's throw some dice. Let's shoot off some fireballs. Let's, see what's at the end of this 10-foot by 10-foot corridor, What's behind that door? That locked door and what's behind that? What's behind it? That's what it should all be about, man. Now, one way to deal with this is to hold a quick session 0 type talk and just say, hey, look, I don't want to hear about the big three while we're at the table. Sex, politics, religion. Just not here. This is the table. Unfortunately, in my friend's case, it wasn't even at the table. It was, the kind of after party, the after talk on the way out the door, kind of, hey, blah, 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 blah. When you're gaming, you're going to be gaming with friends, and friends have their own opinions, And if it's not someone who was a friend who you brought to the table, then it's someone who comes to the table and becomes a friend, okay? This is a social interaction game. This is a game that requires imagination. It's a game that requires active thinking. It's not video gaming. Okay, this is not a video game. Look, you can say I don't want to hear about the big three, and maybe you can get into specific subtopics. If I don't want to hear about religion, but I especially don't want to hear about this. And then maybe other people at the table can say they don't want to hear about this, this, and this. And you can have this whole big checklist, and you can have a whole big committee meeting, and you shouldn't have to have that, okay? Just realize that people probably don't want to hear about don't want to hear trash talk about their family, their hometown, their favorite sports team, or the industry that they work in, okay? Just be an adult. Don't be an ass. Okay? Conversely, okay, realize that part of being an adult is knowing when to let things slide. Okay? Let minor disagreements just kind of roll off. Let unintentional insults kind of roll off. Say, hey, dude, nah. And that's it. Don't make it a big thing. And don't let it really get to you. Because, unintentional insults, unintentional little slights, disagreements, they're all minor things in the grand scheme, And don't cut off your nose to spite your face of, well, this person thinks that this bond measure is going to blah, 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 blah. For an extra $5 per 100,000 of... No. Just chill. It's a game of elves and dwarves and dragons and stuff, Or if you're playing sci-fi, it's about pew-pew with the laser guns and spaceships and stuff, man. This is our little time where we can just kind of block all that nonsense out. Sometimes you just gotta get over it. Anyway, that's just me. DM Kurt out.